You onto the Gerotek Test track in one of the mighty machines which feature in the cars.co.za Consumer Award Survey.
That's my colleague, Dasen Thathiah, and he's going to talk to us more about that particular story. All right, that story and much more when we return. You're watching eNCA now.
Imagine the potential of 10 trillion rand. 130 years of growth unlocked. Africa's journey has been ours, evolving business into global giants. Now imagine partnering with Africa's largest exchange, the legacy we can build, the progress you could lead, your growth, building the future of our economy. Because when you list, you grow, you lead. JSE, driven for your growth.
Ali did not invent the knockout punch. Elvis did not invent rock and roll. And we did not invent the electric car. We injected it with the Audi DNA. We challenge everything and relentlessly test everything. This is taking on mud, snow, and mountains. This is electric unleashed.
You know you can pay lower fees when investing online. But what difference can a percentage or two really make? Let's say you put away 1,000 rand per month for a time of 20 years. You could pay as much as 3% for investment and advice, giving you 494,000 rand. At Outvest, your fees for investment with advice would only be about 1.4%, leaving more in your investment to compound every year, giving you 614,000 rand. About 25% more.
No, sir. Excuse me, this is private property. You can't be doing your graffiti here. No, sorry.
I was just looking for parking. It's not anything serious. Check it out. Outvest.co.za or download the app and get more out of investing.
The new Tucson facelift from 5,999 per month with 0% deposit.
Welcome back. Let's tell you about this now. Car review and sales website cars.co.za will today vote on the country's best car. The Consumer Award Survey looks at 13 categories, including best budget and best family cars. Now, the vehicles will be put through their paces at the Gerotek Test facilities, and that's here in Pretoria. eNCA's Dasen Thathiah joins us live from there now. Dasen, good morning to you. I've got to tell you, you are a car enthusiast, my friend, all the way from Durban to Pretoria, simply to know which of these cars is the best. So, out of the 13 categories, which are the top three, Dasen?
So, Koli, how it works is that there will be a winner in each of those categories. So everything from budget vehicles to sports cars to SUVs. Now, that's one of the vehicles that we are in at the moment. We're in a Porsche SUV, and as you can see, we are on one of the test tracks at the Gerotek facility. This, I am told, is the dynamic handling track, as you can tell by the shaky motion as I'm doing this crossing at the moment. I can tell you this much, if I wasn't doing this crossing, I would prefer to be in the driver's seat. Unfortunately, I'm not, but we are in the very capable hands of Gerotek Test. He is one of the judges. So, really speaking, a lot of the decisions are going to rest with these judges. They make up 50% of the points, or what they decide is 50% of the points of which of the cars actually win in these categories. Chiro, I am trusting you with my life right now. Fortunately, we're only doing about 35 kilometers or so around the bends. But what are we looking for exactly?
All right, so up here at the dynamic handling track at Gerotek, this has been designed based on some of the best handling facilities around the world. A lot of the corners have been copied from places like testing facilities in Munich, for instance. And the idea here is repeatability. It's not a racetrack, although it kind of looks like we're on a racetrack in the middle of the Kruger Park. But the idea is to corner not as hard as you can, but in the same way with each vehicle, so that you get a very clear and as close to scientific comparison as possible, so that when you do your scoring, it's as fair as possible. And that's what makes the COSA Consumer Awards very different to any other awards process out there, is that the 3 finalists are all here on site in each segment, and you drive them back to back, which is a really rare experience, even for someone like myself as a motoring journalist.
But surely this can't be an easy process, Chiro. I mean, you're driving these different cars back to back. They all are quality vehicles. What sets them apart from each other?
So we look at the value for money mostly when it comes to things like budget cars. When it comes to things like SUVs, for instance, like this Porsche Cayenne, I mean, this is probably around the 1.3 million mark. So people buying in this segment are not that bothered if there's a sort of a 50 grand difference maybe between this and a rival. So what you're looking for here is real quality. Quality in the interior, quality in the way the car drives, the actual ride quality on the road, how much road noise is making it through into the cabin. And as you can hear right now in this Porsche Cayenne, extremely little road noise and wind noise coming into the cabin.
And I can tell that the handling's quite good, and I know that because we haven't hit the grass yet.
Well, if we did hit the grass, this is a 4x4, so we would be fine. But yeah, the idea.
But let's not.
Let's not test it today. So yeah, the idea is to keep it tidy, hit the same lines every single time, so you get a really fair comparison. And the thing about a car like this is it has to live up to the Porsche nameplate. Porsche is synonymous with very dynamic, sporty cars. So when Porsche decided to build SUVs, they had to make sure that it lived up to the badge on the nose.
Chiro, I think we actually have it quite good. It's Nkaniso there in the back seat that is doing the hard work here as we hit these bends. But apart from the handling tests, what else do we have in store today? What else will these cars be put through?
So the judging process is extremely comprehensive, and it's designed specifically for different vehicles. So the 4x4s, for instance, they do activities, obstacles, challenges very different to the passenger cars like the one we're in right now. And for the passenger cars, you hit a skid pan, which is really great to experience the car's handling in wet weather. Very important. There's a suspension test, very severe rumble strips, that sort of thing, so that you can pick up if there are any rattles and squeaks in the car. Then you go on to the dynamic handling track, and then there's this really incredible mountain handling course, beautiful looping course that goes up into the mountains around Gerotek, and it's a really challenging course. You take the cars around there, blind corners, twisting corners, spiral corners. You really get a sense for how the car performs out on public roads, because the mountain handling course is designed to imitate what you would encounter out in the public.
That sounds like fun, Chiro. I'm looking forward to doing that. Polly, I think if I'm nice enough to Chiro, he'll let me take this Porsche out into the skid pan. But I've also got my eye on some of the other sports cars that I saw earlier on today.
All right, Dasen, I mean, I just can't believe you're like inside a car that costs, according to your guest there, around 1.3 million rand, Porsche Cayenne. Did you hear the silence inside that cabin? It's beautiful. Well, that's Dasen Thathiah having some fun out there this morning. I wish I were in his shoes, to be honest with you. When we return, Michael McKenna standing by with your sports update.